My daughter, we lived in Severna Park for 27 years, and she grew up there, obviously, and she unfortunately passed away from heroin, an overdose, September 7, 2012. I felt really lost and really alone, isolated, judged, and all of the above. And so did my daughter. And so I thought at that time I couldn't live in Severna Park anymore. Well, it just was not the right place. So I moved. We looked over here in Easton, and we had been to Easton quite a few times in St. Michael's, and it was just that first year, and I knew it probably wasn't the greatest decision to make a decision the first year, but everybody said, just go for it. And I did, not knowing how unbelievably welcoming Easton and St. Michael's. I mean, it's totally a different place than where, you know, I came from. I felt right away, you know, at home, at peace. This means that I can honor my daughter, and I know that Mariah wasn't, I didn't want her to be defined by drugs, because she was much more of a person than that, and I hopefully am making a difference in a small way, and it means that I have a purpose, you know, and I can go out and help other family members in a small way, and also to help and to grieve myself and feel at peace and know that I don't want to be silent anymore.
Yeah.
As a self-supporting artist, you're doing a lot of producing, and so, you know, I learned right away that if I wanted to make something happen, you know, I'd have to find people in the community that were willing to invest in it, and I would have to figure out ways to really make it work for everybody. So I have not ever officially produced with that title before now, but you could say I've been doing that my whole career.
Oh, I see.
So we're going through the first initial editing process, and Talley is taking that on. And it's going to be, you know, several months of work, because he's got all this raw footage to put together.
Have you seen any of it?
I have seen a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I'm very excited. Everybody did such a great job. Filming went really smoothly. It was very intense, but we were supported by this community in a way that just really touched me. And we had people coming forward and, you know, providing meals, people and businesses and organizations. We were able to give all the actors, and many of them traveled from out of state to come and work on this project, a stipend, a place to stay. So we were able to be hosts to them also, and make them feel comfortable, and also let them really get a sense and a feel for this place, because it is different. You know, it's different from a lot of the cities and areas that they were coming from, and so I was really grateful and thankful for that opportunity. I think that there's this feeling like, oh, it's filmed, you know, the filming's done, yay, we're all done, and there's so much work that needs to be done. We're sending the movie out for the finishing touches, for the editing, to professional company, colorist, the sound, and then we actually have a team of musicians who are from here originally, who will be composing an original score for the movie. And I think that is so exciting. And I want to say one more time that we had so many young professional people working on this film, and that is so exciting for them to be doing this real work that they're passionate about. So they can't get started until that final process is done. There is like sometimes the, you know, oh, I just want to see it, or I just want this to happen, but it is right to just take all of these steps and make sure that it's perfect. And then I want it to go everywhere. We're going to start sending it out to film festivals, and, you know, keeping our fingers crossed and holding our breath and all that kind of good stuff. We are $4,000 away from being done. So the light at the end of the tunnel is near. And right now we're coming up with creative ways to fundraise. And again, like, we're starting to see that support come in from people in the community who are checking in with us and going, okay, how close are you? But what we want to also do while we're raising money is make sure that we are creating outreach, that we are able to give information about the Mariah's Mission Foundation and other organizations that are working in the area, so that we can kind of do two of our goals at once. One, of course, we need to make sure that we get to the end of our fundraising goal, but also simultaneously talk about all the things that we know now, and the people that we've met and the resources that are out there.
I played Julian as a child. He's like, he comes in because the two main characters, they've been best friends for like forever, and then I come in and I'm like the new kid in school, and I'm trying to get them to like me, and I'm trying to get them to be pleased with who I am, so I'm kind of like turning myself into the person that they want me to be. I don't know, to be honest, like a little while ago I had a group of friends that were kind of like that I had to like change who I was, like to be a part of them. So that's kind of where I got my inspiration for that. When I first found out about it, I was like, wow, that's really neat. And then I started that Talley was making a movie, and then I started learning what it was about, and I was like, wow, that's really deep. Yeah. And immediately I wanted to be a part of it. I know that I've been hearing a lot about that there's like a big drug problem in like the Eastern Shore, and I know that there are like I've heard like I've never actually seen it, but there are people that are talking about like, did you guys know that the high schoolers sneak into the bathroom and do drugs? And I mean, like, I'm sure that that actually happens. Luckily, I've never walked in on it because that's one of my biggest fears at school. One of the actors is actually my stepbrother, so we have a pretty close relationship. And then the other one of the kid actors, I'd met him like a year before in a different play, so we had like like a foundation of like a relationship. So like I knew them. It wasn't like I was just meeting them for the first time.
Well, in pre-production I was the screenwriter, during production I was the director, and now I'm editing the thing together, so I guess I'm a jack of all trades and master of hopefully at least one of them. Yeah, I mean, directing was definitely the shoes I felt most comfortable in, because I've been doing that since I was a teenager with the whole starting of the underground actors and whatnot, and I've been leading this student-based theater company, if you will, through a variety of shows all about different topics and different emotional strains, and which way the heart can pull you and which other ways the brain can pull you. Yeah. And so this was familiar enough in the sense of leading people down an emotionally stringent journey, and making sure that it was coming across as truthful and honest as possible was probably the most familiar part of the job to me. It never gets any easier to really tackle emotionally vulnerable conversations, scenes, scenarios, and there's a great deal of trust that goes into the director and his relationship with the actors, as well as the crew, the sound, the camera, like everyone that surrounds the on-screen team. They have the amazing support of the crew, which starts with the director, and that person has to make sure that the story is being told in the most careful and thought out way possible. For me, I say it comes from within, and it comes from taking a little piece of your own life, and whether you felt that emotion, that happiness, that pain, whichever, a little bit or a lot, it has to be amplified and manipulated almost. You almost have to manipulate your emotions to really make the deepest connection to the character and what they're feeling in that moment. Like if their loss is loss. If a character is feeling loss in one way, but the actor has never felt it in that way, they will have to take loss from a different part of their life, remember that feeling, and then just feel it honestly. And if they are really feeling it, it will show. Yeah. One of the most poignant things I've heard about everyone's experience was actually funny that it comes from the actor who plays Julian from the age of 16 to 23, and that was Nick Nielsen. He was fantastic on camera. He was fantastic to work with, like a true young professional, really really on the ball 100% of the time. And what he had to say was like it was important to remember that how emotionally close to the chest this was for me as both the screenwriter and the director. He said it's important to realize that as an actor, and for everyone else who is seeing this, that it is not a recreation of what actually happened. It is a telling of a story that is based in the truth of that. And no, because there is still the fact that you have to honor who this story is based off of without just telling their story, because then there's almost too much damage you can do to just retell a story that's already happened and something that's so close to so many people. So you have to take what about it inspired you and find truth in a different plateau.